Alright, welcome back to Cooper's Silence. I am still sick, so I just did my MSPs that were due tonight. That's all I did. It took about half an hour, but they were all about writing functions. And now we're defining functions in our programs. And so to have the web grader be able to grade it, we have to write if name equals main for our main program outside of. So we define the functions, and then for the main program, we say basically it's all within a code block of if underscore name underscore equals or is underscore main underscore. So all right, that's it for now. I don't know if I'll be back later today. I'm trying to ease back into things, so that's it for now. Talk to you later. All right, I just got out of computer science lab. My phone might die, so I'm gonna make this really quick. I felt good enough to come back. I didn't want to miss another participation, essentially grade for missing class. So today we made a tic-tac-toe program, but we already got most of it made. Then really what we did was create the check win function, which basically just brute force checked each row, column, and diagonal to see if there were 3 in the row that were the same, and if they were, what was it? Was it X or O? So that's basically it for computer science lab. So talk to you potentially later today or tomorrow. See you. All right, welcome back to computer science. I don't remember what we're doing. I didn't do anything yesterday because I was sick. Today, what are we going to do? Continuing the work, the lecture book, or continue working through lectures in the textbook, but if I could just pull out the big picture of the things we were reviewing the other day. Default parameter values and keyword arguments. What would it come after that? There was 2 more lessons after that. I don't know. All right, help function, doc strings, and multiple function outputs. Okay. Multiple function outputs. So sometimes you want to output multiple things from a function, but of course you can only have one return statement on a function. So what do? One way to work around this is to output or return a list and then unpack that list outside of the function. If you want to return multiple outputs from a function, return the output as a tuple. Tuple is the most common, or list. Then unpack them as the tuple list. Oh, and then a note on tuples, you don't have to include the parentheses around the elements if you use commas, because it's implicitly implied, or it's implied that it is a tuple if you have just commas with no brackets, parentheses, etc. So help function, doc strings. So doc strings, at the beginning of a function, it's best practice to include a doc string to explain what the function does. One line typically for simple functions. If it has multiple arguments, you can use multiple lines, the extra lines to explain what the arguments or parameters are and what they do, what they take, etc. Doc string. If it is a multi-line, you're going to want to do the bottom line being triple quotes, the top line triple quotes with the explanation of what the function does. It is triple quotes is what is expected for a doc string. Is the first line or lines within a function. The help function will intake a function, a function, and maybe some other things such as an actual file, I think, and return all the documentation about that function or object or file. Doc string used to explain the purpose / function of a function. A string literal placed in the first line of a function body starts and ends with 3 consecutive quotation marks. No blanks before or after the doc string. Okay, no blanks before. Simple function, doc string should have a single line. Multi-line, consistent indentation. So straight line, indentation, code block. More lines to explain arguments if there are multiple. So The main thing I forgot was no spaces before or after the doc string. No blank spaces. Help function provides all documentation associated with an object. Okay. So I think that's everything from lecture 20 then. I'm going to begin lecture 21 right now, and then I'll be back to call what I learned a little bit. All right, so this was this lecture 21 is about strings, and the first unit is on string slicing. And so you can slice up like a substring out of a string. The way you do this is through slice notation, which is, well, first of all, strings support indexing, but slice notation is basically string, brackets, and within the brackets you have a start index, a semicolon, a colon, and then an end index. And basically what it will do is if you say my string, bracket 0, colon 3, bracket, it will return a new string or evaluate to a new string that has index 0, 1, and 2. So basically start to end -1 index of the original string. And you can omit either the start or end or both. If you do, different things will happen. If you omit the start, so instead of bracket start colon end bracket, you just have bracket colon end bracket, then it will return basically from index 0 to end -1. If you remove the end, so you just have start colon, it will return from start to the rest of the string. If you just have a colon, it will just return the whole string, but it's a new string. It's a copy of a string, and we learned about a copy of a list the same way. Bracket colon, that's it. If you have an end that is greater than the length of the string, that's fine. It's actually not an error. It will just return up to the end of the string, and it does support negative indexing, up into but not to. So if you say negative end is -1, so 0 colon -1, it will return the whole string except for the last character. It won't, because it's up to the end but not including the end. So -1 is the last index but doesn't include that. You can also use variables instead of literal numbers. And then I'm forgetting something, but there's something else. One last thing. If your start is greater than the end index, or if your start's greater than the string length, then it'll return an empty string. So I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything for today. So string slicing. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya.